When I was 21, my doctor told me that I had to do yoga because I was so stressed out and fucked up. So I started kind of reluctantly, but over time it actually became something so important to me that I studied myself to become a yoga teacher. And when I was 28, I moved to Barcelona, Spain, and I opened my own yoga studio. And being so far away from everybody who knew me kind of helped me to cultivate this yoga teacher persona. And, yoga teacher Corita was very grounded and calm and warm. And but I was still, obviously my same fucked up self. But that was sort of like this dirty secret that I hid from my yoga students. And I could never really be like yoga teacher Corita and fucked up Corita at the same time. It was sort of like I had these two parts of myself that were really at war with each other. And this came to a head this one night before class arrived. I was taking a shit, whatever, and I flushed, and the toilet started to overflow. And I thought, I just panicked. I thought, people come here for peace and beauty, and if they come and they see an overflowing toilet full of shit, they're gonna leave, they're never gonna come back, and I'm gonna lose this one beautiful thing that I've created, and I'm gonna be stuck being fucked up Corita again. So I was determined not to let this toilet overflow, but I could not find the plunger. The only plunger I could find was this little sink plunger, like this big, but I was desperate. So I just took that little sink plunger and I plunged my hand and the plunger down into the toilet, and I just plunged like my life depended on it. It was like a mighty plunge, and it felt like it took 2 years, but finally it went down. I just threw that plunger out, washed my hands, lit some incense, and then I taught an inspiring and beautiful yoga class. But when all the students had left, it was like all of the shame and fear and disgust that I had while I was plunging with that little plunger just came flooding back. And I was just, it was really intense. And I thought, the one thing that I know that calms me down is to take a bath. And I actually had a private bath adjacent to the public toilet where the students went. So I went in there and I opened the door and I pulled back the shower curtain. I looked down and the tub was filled with shit. All of the shit that I had been plunging out of the public toilet with that little plunger had backed up and filled up my tub full of shit. And this, for me, was kind of just the last straw. I just laid down on the floor and I started crying. And you can it's kind of sad. I mean, you can picture it. I'm like in a dark bathroom, lying on the floor, sobbing next to a tub full of shit. And it's in this moment that I decide that I am going to kill myself. And, but I didn't want to do it right then. I decided I would give myself until I was 40 years old. And if I still felt that bad, that I was out, And so, I went on with my life, but now I had this plan kind of in the back of my head, and it was sort of weirdly a relief. Like I knew I wasn't gonna have to feel this way forever, and, I had an out. So, life goes on, and the summer rolls around. I'm back for my annual visit back to the States, and I'm on the phone with an old friend and telling him, things are not going so great. And he says, "Wait there. I got you." And he drives up from North Carolina up to my mom's house in Boston. We drive up to Vermont. And in the morning, we're taking this long walk through this dark forest. And I'm telling him about everything that's going on, except for my plan, because it's private. And we get to the edge of the forest, and we kind of just catch our breath. And we look out, and in front of us is this absolutely beautiful field, and just as far as the eye can see, it is filled with purple and yellow wildflowers just drenched in sunlight. And in the middle of this field is an enormous, seriously, trampoline. And we walk over and we get on the trampoline and we start bouncing up and down just like two little kids. And I feel this freedom that I have not felt in so many years. And I open my mouth, and I think I'm going to say something very joyful, but instead I start telling him about my plan. And as I'm telling him, I realize that fucked up Corita is right there with me, bouncing on the trampoline. But yoga teacher Corita is also there on the trampoline. And they're not at war with each other, they're just there together. And I knew in that moment that I was going to live.